Hey everyone, Mace1370. Very exciting. We get to do our Leif giveaway selector right now. So I have the URL for the video where everyone put in their comments. We're going to filter out duplicates. We don't really need to include replies, so I think the first step here is to get the number of comments loaded up into the system. And now we do a little drum roll and hit start here to see who the raffle winner is. Feels Trip, congratulations, man. I will be contacting you via Discord and giving you the Leif pack. The double crit damage roll on boots hit hard at home with me. I think it hit hard with all of us. Congratulations again, man. I'll reach out to you on Discord and give you the gift card for the Leif pack. Alright, well let's go over some RTA matches. Okay, for this first match I pre-ban ML Taiwan as usual. The opponent pre-bans Champion Zerato, which indicates to me that they're probably going to go for debuffs, like a CC composition. They get first pick, and they select Faithless Litica, which is a really strong first pick unit for a cleave comp, you know, like with Alots and CDOM, or a crowd control comp. She can fit in there as well, you know, because she has skill reset and she can give her team skill null. So I want to stay open and be able to build a team that could answer either of those two potential opponent teams, which is difficult because a lot of the heroes that you would pick against a cleave team, like Ruel or, you know, a tanky knight with Aureus, don't do very much against a CC comp.
The stars light our way.
So I decided to take Elena here because she's a great pick against Faithless Litica. She CR pushes herself with Magaraha's Tome and then gives your entire team ER buff and invincible. So answers the cleave component all by herself. And then she can also soul burn her S1 and totally cleanse your team, so she's not horrible against CC compositions either. Same reasoning with Fallen Cecilia. She has shields which need to be stripped, and she provides damage mitigation. The opponent goes for Cerise and ML Araminta, indicating to me that they're on the CC plan. That's another strip and a bunch of stuns. So I've taken two support style units. I want to grab a damage dealer of some sort, while also handling all of the debuffs that they're throwing at me. So I decided to grab Fighter Maya. She can constantly debuff, or cleanse herself, and she's also on counter set, so she doesn't need to take a turn to do damage. Same idea for Seaside Bellona. Her passive will just fire off constantly with all the AoEs that the enemy team is going to bring, doing a lot of damage.
How pathetic.
The opponent takes Specimen Says, so this is how he's going to try to kill me, is stun me and then one-shot units with Specimen Says, and Broman, who's extremely strong. And this is tricky for me because both Broman and Cerise can shut down my Elena to varying degrees. If Broman lands his silence on my, sorry, not my Cerise, on my Elena, then it's just totally good game. I think I would lose at that point. And then Cerise can put Restrict on my Elena, preventing Magaraha's Tome from CR pushing her. I grab another Cleanser, DJ Basar, and I decide to ban the Broman. I think that's a worse case scenario for me than Cerise is. The opponent bans Seaside Bellona, which I think is maybe a mistake. I think DJ Basar was probably the ban. We'll see. My Elena is built really fast, so even if she gets restricted, she's likely going to be able to take a turn before all of the enemy can debuff her. She's built around 260, so either she low rolled here or the opponent's extremely fast because a lot of his team, Araminta and Faithless Litica, go in front of her. But she resists the strip, thankfully, and then CR pushes herself to the front and then uses her ultimate ability, her S3. And now I'm in a really good spot because DJ Basar has ER buff, which is going to put him over 300 effect resistance. And I think it actually caps out at 300. So he's going to be extremely difficult to control, and anything the opponent does to the rest of my team is just going to get cleansed off by DJ Basar. So here it doesn't even matter that, you know, Fallen Cecilia is stunned. My entire team is also invincible, so even if they got stunned, they wouldn't be able to be one-shot by Specimen Says. The only threat here is if DJ Basar gets stunned or skill reset, that's how my opponent could get out of this position. But with 300 effect resistance, he resists the Faithless Litica and is able to pop off his S3. And now the opponent is in a really bad spot because he's used pretty much all of his strips, and my entire team now has 3 turns of invulnerability. I use my Fallen Cecilia here to put up skill null and then also take away the enemy skill null. And now I just want to kill Specimen Says, but he concedes. If I could get Specimen Says down, then the opponent would have almost no way to do damage to me. And the barriers from Fallen CC alone would help keep me alive. And that put me into Challenger, so... Okay, time for the next match. I set my ML Tywin ban as usual. The opponent pre-bans Falcon or Clury, which I sometimes see when people try and first pick Remnant Violet because Falcon or Clury is such a strong counter to him. They want to take that option away from the opponent. I go ahead and just grab Remnant Violet here so my opponent can't do it to me. He first picks Seaside Bellona and then Fallen CC. The first pick Seaside Bellona is interesting. I don't think it's a strong pick this early in the draft when they haven't pre-brand Rowana because it gives me plenty of time to fit Rowana into my team. I usually see Seaside Bellona taken later on towards the end when it's either not possible to fit Rowana into your team or when it's very awkward to do so, like you've already picked a few Soul Weavers or something like that, and you really need a damage dealer, so you just can't afford to counter the Seaside. I take Crow for damage mitigation and defense buff. The opponent takes Charles and Arbiter Vildred, so they have a ton of AoE damage. I decided to grab ML Haste. He counters Arbiter Vildred very well. His S3 also gives some damage mitigation when on cooldown, so I think that could help. And now I just decide I need one more damage dealer. Not 100% sure who to take. I want somebody who's fairly thick because the opponent has a lot of damage. I don't want to take a squishy unit that'll just get one shot, so I take Alencia. She's another source of defense buff. So I'm going to have a defense buff either way, even if they ban Crow. I doubt they're going to ban Crow, but she seemed like a fairly flexible option in this scenario. The opponent last picks Maid Chloe, which to me indicates that they're going to 100% ban my ML Haste because he just hard counters 2 of their units now, Arbiter Vildred and Maid Chloe. So this means I don't need to worry about Seaside Bellona. I don't have to pre-ban her, or I don't have to ban her right now. So I decided to ban the Arbiter Vildred since I'm sure my ML Haste is going to get banned, and if he's gone, I don't want to deal with both RB and Maid Chloe. My Alencia can strip off the Maid Chloe res, so I'm not really worried about her. RB is a lot of damage though. And I'm not going to have a ton of sustain, so I go ahead and ban him, and the opponent predictably bans ML Haste. My OCD then compels me to put Crow in the front line. I'm curious if you guys do the same thing, even when it doesn't really matter for imprints. He's a knight, it just feels like he should be in the front. Alright, the opponent gets first turn, and it looks like they speed tune their Charles as an opener to give the rest of their team attack buff. And then Maid Chloe is next up, which is good for me. I build my Alencia around this speed specifically so that buffers have to go before her and force them to, not use their buff for fear of getting stripped. So that happens. The Maid Chloe S1's into Crow and then gets a dual attack into a double dunk from Charles. And actually hits really hard. That was only a 12k HP Charles, so he's probably built speedy and high damage. This gives me the opportunity to S3 though. I decided to go on Charles. This might have been a misplay, I'd be curious what you guys think. I think Maid Chloe was another good choice. I go on Charles because 1, he's squishy, and 2, he's the only damage dealer that really threatens me. Seaside Bellona can't do anything to me with Rowana around, so if I can get rid of Charles, then I can just chill. And even if the opponent reses him, he'll be super low health, and I can just take him out again. I get surprised though, and he has Holy Sacrifice as his artifact, so he comes back. Which is a little unfortunate for me, because I just devoted a bunch of resources, to get him off the board, and that didn't happen. I didn't use the defense buff on my Crow, and so now I feel like I have to use it on my Alencia, or I have to use my Alencia to give defense buff, even though Maid Chloe has not used her res yet. It does strip off the Charles shield, which is nice. And it triggers the S2, which is going to push up my Rowana and allow her to use her S3 before Seaside Bellona does. And I want to get that out because if Seaside Bellona puts unbuffable on somebody, then it would prevent me from, giving them the res buff. So at this point my mission is to kill the Charles. The maid's going to be able to S3 here, but they actually concede. I felt like we still had a game. I think I was in a good spot to win though, but they conceded, so that happens.
Shall I have a go?
Okay everyone, that's all the RTA match analysis for today. I hope you enjoyed those games as well as the Leif Pack giveaway. I'll probably be doing another one at least when I get to 100 subs, maybe a little sooner, we'll see. I think we can end on a random summon. See if we get anything interesting. Maybe Emil Tywin. Maybe a random 3-star. Ancient Sheath, not very exciting. Okay, well thanks for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Later.